Good morning. All right, double check the measurements and we are square. Time to see if this is going to work. I'm wondering if tie wraps can get a good enough bind on that. Anyway, we'll see. Hopefully it will. Well, two reasons for that. One, when the concrete's poured, I don't want, this bolt pointing off to the left. And two, when the concrete starts to fill up, I don't want it to float that plate upward. So, I don't think it needs to be vitally resistant to up and down, but just enough. It might work. All right. Well, that went smoother than I thought. At first I was gonna, drop the pin down and then lift it up about a foot and then attach it somehow to the rebar and then just drive the rebar and the pin down at the same time. And I was thinking, God, it would be nice if I could use zip ties. Zip ties didn't work too well. But what did work is just driving the rebar into the ground right below the hole. I was just eyeballing through the hole, find the spot on the ground with the rebar, and then drive the rebar in, and then just drop the pin down and tie wrap it up. That'll keep it from moving. It'll even keep it from pulling up a little bit. But I'm not too worried about it pulling up too much. You can just kind of step on it to get it where it belongs. Just kind of shake it in place, I'm guessing. Anyway, these are done. These are famous last words, ready for concrete. But I don't, you know, when they pour concrete, that bolt, that pin is not going to move. And if the pin doesn't move, then the form shouldn't move. I think it's going to work. I put my square on this thing and it looks perfect. I called the concrete guy and told him I added some rock to the driveway. He hasn't gotten back to me yet. I don't know if he wants to come up and take another look. But this phase is going to be done fairly soon. See how quickly I can get concrete. Alright, until next time. Alright, I'm going to just level this out real quick. And this is kind of a bummer. It's going to be muddy for a while. Anyway, fast forward.